Army, this just blew up, and it's not an exaggeration. Something huge just happened. Something that truly shook the entire community and caused panic all at once. And most importantly, this didn't come from theories, edits, or internal fandom speculation. It came from outside. And when something like this comes from outside, it means there's a truth that can no longer be hidden. Because it's one thing when we've been seeing the signs for years, connecting the dots, and feeling that Jikook is real. But it's something else entirely when the whole world starts saying it out loud. Today we're not going to talk about interpretation. Today we're going to discuss a signal that is so clear, so real, and so viral that it finally proves that Jikook love fans aren't crazy. Get ready, because after this, nothing will ever be the same again. But before we begin, if you love them as much as I do, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest news about Jikook. For years, we've been called excessive, dramatic, told we're seeing things that aren't there, told that Jikook is just a fantasy created by fanatical fans who want to believe in something that never existed. We've been repeatedly called crazy, told it's all just coincidence, that they're just friends, that we're overinterpreting. But here's the big problem for those who always try to dismiss us. When too many people see the same thing, it stops being imagination. When the signs keep repeating, when the gestures keep piling up, when the dynamics don't change even as years go by, then this is no longer a single theory. It's a pattern. And most importantly, Jikookers don't believe without reason. We believe because there's always something there. In the way they seek each other out, in the way they look out for each other, in the way they choose each other even when no one asks. We don't create that energy. We just recognize it. That's why what just happened feels so powerful. Because for the first time, this validation didn't come from the fandom. It came from outside. From a party that has no interest in promoting the ship, yet still sees exactly what we see. And when that happens, it can no longer be said that we're crazy. Now, let's talk about what really ignited everything. Because this isn't a small rumor or a random comment on social media. This is an official, verified account, completely unrelated to the fandom, that boldly said something that had been silenced all this time. The official Duolingo Brazil account uploaded a TikTok that went viral in just a matter of hours. And this isn't just any TikTok. In the video, with their signature style and flair, they directly ship Jimin and Jungkook. But what's most shocking isn't just the video, it's the message that accompanies it. They literally wrote, "I'm so excited about the BTS concert that I had to write Jikook fanfiction with my app. Hold on. Duolingo, an international brand. A company that isn't part of the fandom. That doesn't live off shipping. That doesn't need to please the Jikookers." And they themselves chose to call it Jikook. They didn't say BTS in general. They didn't mention other couples. No ambiguity. No hesitation. Direct, clear, and fearless. And of course, it exploded in the community. Timelines flooded. Comment sections in chaos. Reactions came from everywhere, even from people who usually never talk about shipping. Because this couldn't be ignored. When a brand this big speaks like that, they don't do it randomly. They do it because they know which narrative is most familiar to the public, which dynamics are easiest to recognize, and which connections feel the strongest. This isn't fan-made fan service. This is public perception. This is indirect confirmation that Jikook isn't just living in our heads, but is visible, tangible, and recognized even by those outside the fandom. And that's what makes this news so powerful. Because when the outside world starts talking like us, it means something has become too obvious to continue denying. And this is where everything becomes much heavier. Because this isn't just a funny TikTok or a meaningless joke. It changes everything. It's one thing when we have debates, theories, and factions within the fandom, but when someone who isn't involved in that internal war sees the same thing, the narrative immediately collapses. Duolingo doesn't live on Twitter Army. Duolingo doesn't read Jikooker threads. Duolingo doesn't analyze fan cams. Duolingo only observes what the general public feels. And the public clearly sees Jikook. If this were really just Shipio fans, no brand would dare to use such a specific term, especially talking openly about fanfiction. That wouldn't be done without prior consensus. This proves something that is difficult for some people to accept. Jikookers are not imposing anything. We are not seeing hallucinations. We are responding to what is shown, what is repeated, what can even be felt from the outside. When an international brand uses Jikook as a reference, it is because they know that the majority of people immediately understand what it means. Because that connection already lives in the collective imagination. And here's the most uncomfortable sentence for some people. If this were just a made-up ship, there would be no external recognition. Brands avoid controversy. They avoid risk. Yet still, they mention Jikook without fear. That only happens when something is so obvious that denying it feels strange. If this were just random shipping, if all the dynamics were the same, then the same thing would happen with other duos too. The outside world chooses what's obvious, what feels natural. And if Jikook were truly dominant and easily recognizable, we would have seen its reflection outside the fandom long ago. But that's not the case. What always comes back to the center is Jimin and Jungkook. Their closeness, their unity, an energy that needs no explanation because it feels natural. And if there's still any doubt, let's talk about what happened 2 days ago in Lisbon, Portugal. When BTS arrived at the airport, cameras captured Jimin and Jungkook together, interacting naturally and casually as if no one else was around. Community swoon. Jungkook held Jimin's coat with care as they walked together. It wasn't a forced gesture. It wasn't a coincidence. It was pure care, tenderness. Imagine this, done in public, with hundreds of eyes watching, yet their naturalness remains undisturbed. They don't shy away. They don't pretend. They don't act. Every movement shows a long-standing habit of closeness. And Are You Sure 2 makes everything clear. In this second season, Jimin and Jungkook are always together, sharing scenes, sharing interactions, even intimate moments that cannot be ignored. We see them sharing clothes, searching for each other with their eyes, taking care of each other with small details, even sleeping together. This is not a coincidence. This is consistency. And when something keeps repeating itself, it stops being a theory. No matter how often people try to downplay it, the camera captures it. The video shows it. The signs are clear. That's why the TikTok Duolingo Brazil feels so relevant. What we see within the fandom is now being seen by the outside world. And after that, there's no going back. Jikook is real. And everyone is starting to realize it. Because this isn't just news. This is confirmation that belongs to us, the Jikookers. See you in the next video, Army. And remember, Jikook isn't a rumor. It's a reality that everyone is now beginning to see.